La emisión está comenzando. Todos los...
Okay, good morning. My name is Jesus Terrazas from Syscom and Appcom Product Manager, and welcome to this webinar about the Proteja information with the printer DTC. Natasha, can you help me?
Oh, hi. Yes, hello, everybody.
Hello, Natasha.
This is Natasha Jaramillo, and I'm an inside sales, and I provide support for all of the sales managers that are in the field. So can I go ahead and start?
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, let me know when you're able to see my presentation. It says that it's loaded at 100%. Can you see it? Oh, somebody. Okay.
Okay, Natasha, you can start.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning. As I was mentioning, my name is Natasha Jaramillo, and I work as an inside sales for the whole region of Latin America. I provide support for the sales manager, and I've been within HAD for about 13 years now. Before we start, I would like to share something about Minnesota. This is where I'm based, and I started with HID as Fargo, actually. Fargo is the brand of the printer cards. And I'm based in Minnesota, and this is where I've lived for the last 19 years. For those who are not familiar with Minnesota, we are located in the Midwest, upper north of United States. And we are very well known for our weather. And believe me, it's beautiful, but sometimes you feel like you've had enough. Today is one of those days that we're looking forward for spring, and we still have it. Well, that's enough for me. Now we're gonna continue talking about HID. And to start the presentation, I would like to share our mission. HID Global powers the trusted identities of people, words, people's places, and things. And this is very important. HID Global surrounded itself with products that provide the most trusted identities. And as we become more digital, this is key for all of our end users, is to have an environment they can trust. And HID Global is doing that, and is doing it in a very well way. We are continuously acquiring new companies that increase our portfolio in terms of identities, trusted identities. HID Global is part of ASA Abloy. ASA Abloy is our umbrella, per se, as a company. They provide us with a lot of resources to do research, invest in new products, and invest in employees and infrastructure, etc. ASA Abloy is a leader in everything that's related with doors to enter to buildings, and HID is a key part of this ASA Abloy brand, because HID is the division of innovation. So everything that HID creates, ASA Abloy pretty much follows. HID is the global leader in the industry of security, cards and readers have become the standard of the industry. And the purpose of this presentation is also offer that Fargo is the printer for all of the access control cards in the market. We want to become the leader in that industry as well. We have more than 25 years in the market as leaders. Our headquarters are located in Texas. And as today, we are over 3,200 employees worldwide. Now, HID business structure is split in different units. The most well-known is the PACS, known as the Physical Access Control System. This is where all of the cards and readers are located. Security Assurance is the second most important unit within HID, and Security Assurance is where I work. We have all of the solutions in terms of card printers, central issuance, and coding, and financial solutions, and also cloud solutions for issuance. And as I was mentioning at the beginning, HID is increasing constantly its portfolio with the purpose of increasing our solutions in terms of identity, in trusted identity. And as you can see, just for a little bit of history, in 2006 is when HID acquired Fargo. So that's when we became the card printer solution for access control cards. Today, we're going to be talking only about security issuance, and to be more precise, we're going to be talking about the DTC1500, which is the name of the webinar today. Now, when we were selling access control, and I can put myself in that situation because I sold access control, they're going to have to print the cards. If they're not going to print the cards, they're going to kind of say violate the basic access control, which is having a picture on the card. The verification is very simple. Who's in the picture? Who's holding the card? Is it the same person or not? So it is critical that we kind of start including that conversation when we sell access control systems. Now, the business of selling the card printer is you can provide it as a service. So let's say the cost of a card can be 60 cents. You can be selling that card for $2 or $3, depending on how customized and what kind of technology you use. So you provide a service to the end user, which you're going to have the basic access control, which is the visual access control, and you can charge a little bit more for your card. So that's a great way to do more business. The other way is when you sell the printer itself. The more printers, you're going to have a very sustainable long-term business. Why I say that? Because you sell one printer with a ribbon, you sell two printers with a ribbon, then next year you're going to have more ribbons that are going to continuously buying from you, which just at the end it means more money. So the whole business is to sell the consumables. That's when we really make good money. And that is either providing the service or is either selling the hardware to the end user or to different integrators that want to provide the service. Why Fargo printers? Our major differentiator, or the way Fargo is known within the market, is we have a very good brand recognition. HID Global in terms of the security industry, and HID Fargo in terms of identification. So if you put them together, is the perfect combination. Fargo is very well known within all of these years that we have been manufacturing printer cards because of our quality, our innovation, and our warranties. We provide the best warranties within the industry. So that's a very good opening conversation with the end user. It's a very well recognized brand. We have many, many projects that have been sold or or are currently issuing very important identification solutions within the market. In Latin America, we have tons of driver license projects. Also very important in the United States, we issue the green card. They don't use the Fargo printers, but they use the HID technology, and they issue the green card, which is a very important document in the United States. Our printers are issuing actually the employee and the identification for everybody that has to do anything with the Department of Defense of the United States. And so as you can see, we have a lot of trust from the end users to use our products. Getting into a little bit more of detail, and I want to take time to explain how the image is created, is because of the security that we have added to this product, to the DTC1500. So I want to go into these details. When you open a ribbon, which is what you load into the card to create the image, and you open the ribbon, you find that it has these panels. It has a yellow, a magenta, cyan, a K, which is black, and an O. That O is an overlay. So the image is created combining the YMC. You can, as you print on the card and you create the yellow image and you combine it with the magenta, and when you combine it with the cyan, you create a full picture of the image that you want to create. Now, with these three panels, the YMC, you can also create black. Now, the K is particularly used when you want to print barcode, for example, so you can have a read type A, meaning you can read really well with the scanner without problem. And the O is applied on top of the card in order to protect what has been printed. So the YMCKO is a whole solution that can give you a full color. It can give you the K to print the barcode. Sometimes they use this to print the text. And that the O is going to be applied on the whole card as a protection. What are you supposed to sell? Sometimes I've had customers that come to me and say, oh, well, I sold the printer. I didn't know it didn't include the ribbon. So just to make sure this, I know the audience might be mixed, have people that know a lot of card printers, and I might have people that don't know a lot of card printers, but I want to make sure that everybody understands that you sell the printer, you have to sell the ribbon, the cards, of course, of access control cards, and you're going to need the software to personalize the cards. And today, now we know why HID, now we know why Fargo, now why the DTC1500. The DTC1500 has a lot of features that are available from the very basic model. For example, with the O panel that I was talking about, you can have a watermark overlay. This is when you can start talking about security to your customer. It has the resin erase feature. This is another key component to start talking about security. So you're elevating your conversation from the cost per card, the printer to printer comparison that is a battle of cents, because you're going to be able to raise that bar and have a conversation that it has more key elements that is going to help you differentiate from other options in the market. Or DTC1500 also has the green circle certification. This is when we make comparisons with other brands in the market, and the DTC1500 offers 68% savings in energy consumption. And the printer is also very flexible or versatile, because it can be adapted to what the customer needs in the future. So it's a printer that is future-proof, per se, because you can add more elements into the printer. And I'm going to go into the details of each of these features, so don't try to, just give me a few minutes. The printer is also has the lamination option, and it has the 3-year warranty. So let's dive in a little bit more into these features. The cost per card is one feature that is very also available. The ribbon comes for 500 images, so that allows us to provide a consumable that the cost per card is a lot lower compared to other brands within the market. So this is a good advantage in those situations where you try to avoid being compared in terms of cost, but if that conversation happens, then you have a card to play. If you do the math over the amount of cards they're gonna buy, you can see the differentiation and the cost savings over the time they're gonna be printing. In terms of security, the watermark is probably one of the most important features that the DTC1500 offers. In the previous slide, I was talking about the panels available on the ribbon. The O panel, which is the main objective or the main purpose of the O, is to protect the image that has been printed. Now, with the O, I can print an image which is going to look like a watermark. And for example, if you see the images of the HID logo that is printed on the card using the O, so it looks more secure. It creates that feeling to the person that wants to counterfeit or duplicate the cards that the card is secured. So it's like when you have a camera outside of your house, even though it doesn't work, the thief is going to think twice before trying to break in, right? Because it creates fear sensation. So that's when you're talking to a small government institution, or when your customers are talking to a small government institution that are installing an access control system, they can have this security. They are used to talk about security. They can add this feature into their speech, so they are offering a product that has more value. And it's actually very easy to load from the driver. You select the image that you want to be printed, and you just plug it in, and that's it. So that's one of the main features in terms of security and in terms of protecting the image. The other one is the resin scramble. This one is really good when we are printing key information on the K panel. So now we're talking on the K panel. For example, we're printing, if it is a financial institution and they are printing the card number, for example. When after you print the card number onto the card, on the ribbon, there's going to be, the full number is going to be there. So you don't want that sensitive information to be exposed to somebody just steal it and copy it. So what the printer does is you enable it on the driver. You enable it on the driver, and the printer prints multiple times, but it moves by millimeters. So on the card, the same number is being printed on the same spot, but the ribbon moves a little bit. So you can you see that it gets all scrubbed. You can't really tell which numbers were the ones printed on the card. So this is a very good feature. If somebody's printing sensitive information that you don't want it to be reliable, you don't want to have that responsibility that all of your ribbons have sensitive information, right? When you are providing the service to a company, for example. It's energy efficient. So we talk about security. Now we talk about cost, having an image per cost lower. compared to other brands. We talk about security. Now we're going to continue talking about cost. How can we save more money? The printer, as I mentioned, provides 68% energy savings. In over the years, it can be the cost of a ribbon or 2 ribbons, 3 ribbons. If you have more than one printer, it can even be, in terms of savings, it can be equivalent to a printer. Also, as we continue to be more responsible on the products that we use, having a product that offers a sustainable solution. I've seen it a lot of demand in universities, for example. They are looking for products that offer these kind of features, being sustainable, offering more green solutions, more friendly to the environment. So this is also very, very important. Now, those are the let's say the features that come with the standard printer. You buy the single side printer and you get all of the cost savings in terms of energy, ribbon, you can do the watermark, you can do the resin scramble, you can have that whole conversation with the end user or with your integrators, and is just the printer, nothing else, prints one side, that's it, and you get all of this value proposition. Now, let's say the customer in access control, usually they only print on the front, but there are some instances where they also print on the back. Usually the back text that they use is, in case you find this card, please contact, and they put a number. So it's a very standard text that they print on the back of the card. If that is the case, the printer is actually dual by factory. Every time that you buy a printer, even if you buy the single side printer, it's gonna come with the flipper inside. Now you activate it only when you need it. So if the customer is gonna start printing both sides of the card, they can just buy this tag. You can install it on the ribbon, you put it inside the printer, and the printer automatically activates that portion of the hardware, which is the flipper. The flipper turns the card around so you can print on the back of the card automatically. So it's very easy to install, and it is very friendly. This DTC1500 is very friendly for distribution. You can have it in inventory. As a single-sided printers, you have 2 or 3 tags, and then you have all the modules that you can add on the field. So the printer grows with the needs of the customer. And continuing with that, you can have the lamination module. This lamination, the purpose of the lamination is to increase durability on the cards. So when the conversation with the end user, the customer, or the integrator, they're looking for a solution that you want to increase the durability of the cards for, I don't know, they need it for 4 years, for example, because every 4 years they renew by policy all of the employee badges, or they want to protect the cards as much as they can because they are expensive. They have chips and antennas, so you want to make sure that card can last the longest possible. So for those kind of situations, we offer the lamination to increase the durability. The material that is loaded on the lamination can be clear or can be holographic. When the customer starts talking about holographic because the watermark is not enough, then I'm not going to get into details for this presentation, but then I want you to know that we offer the holographic options in the lamination module. Now, the encoders, the printer also can talk to smart cards. It can read, it can write. We have solutions that it can even program the facility code and the sequential numbers on the cards. So you can have a whole solution for your end user. They can have cards in stock, and they can encode and print based on the demand they need. So they don't have to, they always have stock as a Kanban to never run out of cards, and they don't have to wait until we HID produce them, encode them, and ship them. So it brings a lot of flexibility, and it adds to you more value to that conversation. As an example, as right now, for example, the HR is the ones, or the security division within any company, let's say a corporation, the security person is the one that hands out the employee badges, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to have the printer, he's going to have cards, and he's going to buy the information, the facility codes, and the sequential numbers to encode into that card. So he can have the whole solution with all software Azure ID. He can bring the employee information from the database in HR. He can load the facility code and sequential number using our Azure ID onto the card, and then he's got the final product in one step, without manipulating, without having to wait long times from the manufacturer, from HID to provide with the cards. And so it's an inline solution. And this slide, what it is, it provides with the part numbers. It's a summary of what we saw today. I will share this presentation, and you can have this as a quick reference. And for the last part of the presentation, I would like to add that every time that you start having this interaction with your customer, the main questions that you want to ask to integrate in your conversation is, are you going to print the cards you're buying from me? If so, what kind of cards are these? Is it going to be for a school? Is it going to be for an employee of a corporation? This will allow you to open that opportunity to start talking about security on the card, and then you can start pitching the watermark solution, the watermark feature, or the resin scramble. The next question will be, how many cards a year are you going to print? So then you can calculate how many consumables or how many ribbons you're going to have to sell. Now, how often do you renew this card? Is there a policy in place that you have to renew it every 2 years, every 5 years? If their answer is 2 years, maybe they don't need the lamination. If they say 5 years, then it opens that opportunity to start talking about lamination, and you can add a clear patch so it will protect your cards, or you can have holographic image on that patch, so you increase the security of the card. Now, if you're talking about security, then you can reinforce with the watermark. And at the last question, I'm assuming most of the cases will be using smart cards, so you can add into that conversation the capability of having them encoded inside of the printer. If you have them encoded inside of the printer, then you can provide the whole solution for an inline personalization from chip to images. And with that, I would like to provide more support in terms of all of the videos that we have available for the DTC1500. Some of them are a little bit more technical, but I think the more familiar you are with the printer, how to load the ribbon, how to clean the printer, it makes you more comfortable with it. So please feel free to visit in our channel on how to do videos of the DTC1500. And with that, I would like to open the session to questions if there's any. Otherwise, that's my contact information. Feel free to contact me. I work very close with Hugo and with Armando, and so my job is provide support to all of our customers. So feel free to reach out to me. You can look in Skype or WhatsApp using my cell phone number. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Natasha. Thank you for your presentation. Any question? No? Okay.
Okay, well, I hope the questions come when they are in front of the customers. And if it's the case, please feel free to reach out to me right away on Skype, and I will be more than happy to assist.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, everybody.
No, thank you to all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Excellent.